When the beat drops, you know exactly what time it is. Hello and welcome into another episode of The Blitz. I am Evan Closky. David Shealy is still at home changing diapers. We have a great show for you today. As an Ohio State alum, it's Buckeye versus Buckeye in the Emerald City. We analyzed a rushing attack with Bucky Irving hurting. Plus, what the heck is up with this special teams unit? So let's get to it. This is the 10 and 10, the 10 most important storylines you need to know before the Buccaneers take on the Seahawks right here on 10 Tampa Bay. At number 10, both teams are 3-1 to begin the season. Seattle has won 3 straight after losing the home opener to the Niners. The Bucs are coming off their first loss to the Eagles. Seattle is 9-6 in the series all time. This also might be the most aesthetically pleasing game of the season. The Buccaneers will wear the white creamsicles while the Seahawks rock the royal blue and silver. Both franchises are celebrating its 50th season of football. The Seahawks beat Tampa Bay back in 1976. That was a matchup between two putrid teams. It has gotten better. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have not won in Seattle since 2009. Josh Freeman led the team to victory that day. The last 2 times Tampa Bay has made the cross-country road trip, the team has lost in overtime. But the last meeting between these two was a Buccaneers victory, which was the first game ever in Germany. Rachaad White had that stiff arm, the highlight in the contest. Also, Tom Brady fell down as a receiver, which is just funny. But Tom Brady is gone, and his successor, Baker Mayfield, takes on a good friend in Sam Darnold. Both were teammates in Carolina. Both almost had their careers ruined in Carolina. Both have been coached by Todd Bowles, as Bowles was the head coach of the Jets when Darnold was drafted 3rd overall in 2018. Mayfield and Darnold have the utmost respect for one another.
Bake's, he's a competitor, and like you said, he's pretty fiery with it. It's cool to, be able to watch some of his tape too when he runs for a first down. Getting as excited as he does, gets the crowd into it.
From going a couple different places that weren't great for us to having a good opportunity elsewhere, it's fun to see. And I knew he just needed that opportunity, another chance, and so he's thriving now, and it's good to see, but hopefully not this weekend.
At number 8, turnovers will play a big role in this contest. The Bucs committed their first 2 turnovers of the season last week, and it cost them dearly. Also, Tampa Bay has only forced a takeaway in 1 out of 4 games this season. Baker better be on his P's and Q's, because Seattle and this defense, they rank 2nd in the league with 7 interceptions. Now, it's going to be a busy day in Seattle. The Seahawks contest will just be the appetizer, as the Mariners are the nightcap. Growing up in the Seattle area, Emeka Egbuka was a huge M's fan. He even threw out a first pitch. Had a chance to pursue baseball professionally, but I think he made the right choice with his sport. At number 7, Emeka Egbuka continues to shine for this team. He is the first Buccaneers wide receiver to ever earn Offensive Rookie of the Month honors. It's the first time a Buck has won that award in 10 years. He is just one of 4 players since 2000 to record at least 15 receptions, 250 yards, and 4 touchdowns through his first 4 career games. He joins Jamar Chase, Calvin Ridley, and Roy Williams. Egbuka isn't the only Seattle area player on the team. We have a whole bunch of Huskies on the roster as well. Vita Vea, Greg Gaines, Cade Otton, Devin Culp, and Jalen McMillan all come from Washington. These families are going to help put some more Bucs jerseys in the seats. At number 6, let's talk some Buckeyes. We have Emeka Egbuka squaring off against his former teammate Jackson Smith and Jigba. Clint Kubiak is in his first season as offensive coordinator there, and he has decided to feature JSN as much as possible. Only him and Puka Nacua entering Week 5 averaged north of 100 yards per game. He was also tied with Puka for the most 20-plus receiving plays at 8. Now, here's an interesting stat that comes from Jacob Gibbs, who is a great follow on X. When Darnold isn't blitzed, JSN has a 45% target per route run rate. When Darnold is blitzed, though, that number plummets to 24%. I think you're going to see Todd Bowles dial up the blitz fairly often in this contest. Out of all the quarterbacks who qualify, nobody faces a higher pressure rate than Sam Darnold this season when blitzed. At number 5, I also expect both teams to throw the ball plenty, since these are 2 of the best rushing defenses in the game right now. The Bucs rank 2nd in yards per rush attempt against. Seattle ranks 4th. Tampa Bay is the only team in the NFL that hasn't allowed a running back to reach 50-plus yards this season. Seattle has held every running back south of 70 yards. It will be tough to come by on the ground. That's not great news for the Buccaneers because at number 4, Bucky Irving is hurting after that Eagles game. He was on crutches and in a boot this week. Multiple reports indicate some sort of foot sprain. He's likely going to miss this week and next week. Irving had a total of 430 yards to his name. He actually ranks second in receiving yards for this team behind Emeka Egbuka. So let's bring in James Yarko for our Locked On Bucks burning question of the week. And James, with Bucky down, what should we expect Josh Grizzard does with Rachaad White and Sean Tucker in the backfield?
I think you have to find a way to get these running backs more involved in the passing game. Seattle has a really, really good defense, except when it comes to running backs in the passing game. So this season so far, the Buccaneers are right on the same average that they had last year with 7 targets per game to the running back position. However, Seattle has allowed 27 receptions for 253 yards against running backs. That's 63 yards per game through the air to running backs. Seattle is also 26th in the NFL in opponent yards after catch. We know how effective a guy like Rachaad White can be in open space after the catch, and that is the biggest spot where Seattle's defense is susceptible. Those quick dump-offs, getting them in space against a team that is one of the worst in the NFL in yards after catch, that's where the Bucs are going to be able to utilize these running backs in the most effective way and really give themselves an opportunity to get a win on the road.
Thank you so much, James. At number 3, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are one of the most injured teams in the sport right now. A handful of players already on the IR. You know the Brady bunch? Well, I'm going to call this group the beaten up bunch. All 9 of these players missed the first practice of the week. Now, half of these guys were back to work on Thursday, but this is what the damage looks like. No Bucky. 2 of your best cornerbacks won't be out there. Christian Izien and Mike Evans also out. If Tampa Bay can win, it would be impressive considering all of this damage. And just a reminder, these are the guys on the IR right now. Luke Gedeke isn't eligible to return until after the Niners game next week. Jalen McMillan is hopefully back somewhere closer to after the bye week. Rashad Wisdom out at least 4 weeks, not to mention Cody Mauch, Ko Keefe, and Kalijah Kancey are all done for the season. At number 2, there aren't many teams in the league that have blocked a punt and field goal this season, but the Seattle Seahawks are one of them. Considering what we've seen from the Bucs, the Seahawks are probably licking their chops. This special teams unit is on thin ice with Todd Bowles. He even brought in some punters for a tryout this week. A blocked punt in week 2 almost cost him the game. A blocked field goal in week 3 almost cost him the game. A blocked punt in week 4 put them in a 7-0 hole immediately, probably cost him the game. If we are keeping it a buck, the team very well could be 1-3 right now, and luckily they've had a pair of game-winning drives to overcome those faults. After the Eagles game, the Bucs had 2 total punts blocked this season. There were only 4 total in the league. That's north of 400 punts. 50% of the blocks were on the Buccaneers. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, everyone still has a job. Fool me 4 times, that's when Todd Bowles will likely make some changes. At number 1, in some positive special teams news, undrafted free agent John Bullock is tied for the team lead in tackles with 5. He has had quite the journey to the NFL and continues to make an impact on this team, even though he is not a household name. I was able to sit down one-on-one with the former Nebraska Cornhusker and learn a little bit more about him in this week's edition of The One Buck. For you and your journey, can you outline the path to the NFL? And it's a little bit unconventional based on how others get here.
Yeah, no doubt. Started in high school. Obviously, I didn't know what sport I was wanting to play. Ended up choosing football going into my senior year. Thought I'd always be a baseball player. Walked on to Nebraska. That was always my dream to play at Nebraska growing up as a Husker fan. Played special teams for my first couple of years after I redshirted, and ended up starting my last 2 on defense. So just try to work my way up, had to climb the ladder a little bit.
What did you learn about yourself throughout that process of being a walk-on and really having to earn your keep throughout your entire football journey?
I've gone through a lot of adversity. Obviously, being a walk-on, I've been thrown down on the totem pole. Some transfer comes in, I'm below him already. It's just how it works. So, I mean, just having to fight my way up and up and up and up and just keep fighting my tail off until I got what I wanted. So here we are, and I'm still fighting. So.
And as a Nebraska guy, what does it mean to be in the same room as Levante David?
Oh, yeah. I mean, childhood dream, of course. I mean, watching him when I was younger, I think I was probably 10 at the time.
I'm
when
sure
he was there.
too young in Levante's eyes.
Yeah, definitely. So I didn't know a lot about football then, obviously, but I knew of Levante David. I mean, I knew of Dominican Sue. Those are who I looked up to when I was growing up. So, I mean, it's pretty surreal seeing him. I'm in the same room as him.
And then finally, just what's something that you want fans to know about you?
You're just gonna give my all every single time I step on the field. I mean, try to be the best teammate as I possibly can be. Whatever I can bring to the table, that's what I'm gonna do. And just gonna try to make as many plays as possible.
All right, time for the all-out blitz, and we start with my parlay of the week. This is now 4 straight weeks. I've gone 2 of 3. Time to lock it in. Kenneth Walker over 9.5 receiving yards. Seahawks have given up the 10th most yards to the tight end this year. Cade Otton is due, so I'll go over 20.5 there. And we talked about the rushing defense. Tough to get 50 on the Bucs, so I don't see Zach Charbonnet, the backup running back, getting 40. I'm going under there. Put all that up, plus 500. As for our game of the week, it's only 1 on 10 Tampa Bay, and it's the one I've been talking about. Bucs Seahawks at 4:05 from the Emerald City. Checking out our Blitz picks record. I picked the Eagles last week, so I moved to 3-1, and David is now needing to play catch up at 2-2 with Tampa Bay hitting the tough part of its schedule. In Todd Bowles' career with the Buccaneers, in games 5 through 8, he's gone 2-10. I think this is a really bad spot for Tampa Bay. They're beaten up. It's a long road trip. They haven't forced turnovers like we all thought entering the season. I flip-flopped on this game all week, but I am going to be the bad guy once again and go Seattle, winning 22-16. David is going to join me in this as he's picking the Seahawks 20-14. Thank you for joining us again on the Blitz. The Bucs get to play back-to-back weeks against teams that played on Thursday night previously. So the Niners are back inside of Raymond James Stadium next week. For David Shealy, home with the baby, I am Evan Closky. This is The Blitz. We will see you same time or same place next weekend.